Got it. Got it. I am sharing my screen now. Do you see the letter M there that I just
Yeah, I
typed in?
do.
Okay, great. You've given me enough that we can start on. If you remember something or you wanna throw it in the chat so that I can see it, or like you can just tell me verbally as well. Did you see this equation in the classroom this week or last week?
Yeah, I did. That's the what's it called?
Well, this is the slope formula.
Slope formula, right?
Yep.
I don't think she had it like different for the x. I'm not sure if she had like x2 minus like x1.
Okay, well, let's start here. What I'm doing is I'm sharing my screen. At the end, I'm going to send you a PDF of the notes here.
Okay.
I would encourage you to still take some notes, but obviously I can't like see if you're doing it or not. But
Yeah.
I will send this to you at the end. This is also screen recorded. You'll be able to look back at it later if you want. It's a private thing though, so you can only you can see it if you want. Um,
All right.
but let's just kick things off here. Um, I'm going to just start with a few problems here. I'm going to give you some points. So let's say I give you the points 1, comma 2, and a second ordered pair of 5, comma 6. Okay. And I said, what is the slope between these points? Is that maybe something you saw in class or?
Um, I that is something I saw in class. I
Okay.
think.
So let's start here. The slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And you may be thinking, well, what are those? I'm gonna give that now. This first number is x1. This one is a subscript. You're used to seeing maybe like powers. So powers go up here, subscripts go here. I don't necessarily like it, but that's the convention that they use. So your first ordered pair is x1, y1, and your
Mhm.
second ordered pair is x2, y2.
All right.
So
One.
now it's just a matter of like mapping these in. So like, well, what's y2? Well, y2 is 6. Y1 is 2. X2 is 5. X1 is 4.
And then. All right.
Okay,
Six.
so from here you're going to simplify the numerator 4 over 1.
And then would you make it a whole number just being four, or would you keep it as like 4/1?
Well, great question. It's like the answer is like it depends, and I hate saying that because I know you want like some solid stuff. Like if I'm asking you what is the rise over the run, you would
Yeah,
want
that's
to
the other thing I didn't fully get. Rise over run.
you'd want to say 4 over 1. But if I said what is the slope, you would say the slope is 4.
Okay, so rise over run mostly stay right is a paragraph one. Stay four. And then what was the other one called? Just
Just the
besides.
slope. It's just the slope. If I if and basically like it's basically like am I asking for a number or am I asking for an interpretation?
Okay. And then is slope. So what exactly like is the definition of slope?
Yeah, so slope is think of it as like if I were to ask you about your hair, you could tell me like the color or the texture or the length, right? So you could give me
Mhm.
like characteristics of it.
Okay.
So slope is a characteristic of a line.
Slope is a heuristic of the line. Okay. I'm gonna
Okay.
write that.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you some lines here so we can talk about that. So let me make a little graph here. Let me grab this so I can copy it if I need to. All right. So in the first one here, let me actually change pen colors here. See if we can do that real quick. Um, let's go blue. So let's say I give you a line that looks, why isn't that drawing? There we go. Okay.
Mhm.
So this line right here is a slope of 2/1. Okay.
Okay.
And then let me just reorient this one here. Are you hearing me clearly? There's not too much feedback or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm hearing you pretty well.
Okay. If um if you're hearing too much feedback, let me know. Any changes like that. This one has a slope of 1/2. Okay. So think of the graph on the left as like someone with brown hair, and the
Mhm.
graph on the right is someone with like blonde hair, we'll say. Like they're not the same, but they're both hair, kind of as an example. The slope on the left here is 2/1. That means it goes two up and one right. So if I were to start here, I'm going up two,
And
right
then
one.
over one. Oh, and then that's rise over run,
That's
right?
rise over run. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, over
I
here you're going up
realized
one, right two.
one. Okay. Oh, so it has so rise and run, it goes from 0.
Are you referring to the origin?
Oh, right, yeah, origin.
Yeah, so not everything starts at the origin, but we'll just assume it does for the moment. Okay.
All right.
All right. So let me switch back to black here. Let me paste another graph in here. Why isn't this? Okay. So let me get back to where, okay. So the next thing I can show you though is, well, what happens if the line is now going down, okay, down and to the right.
Would it be like negatives and just instead of
It would be. So now this is the part that I think is not very well made clear. So your slope is rise over run. Okay, the
Mhm.
run is always to the right. Like we read left to right, we think of time as moving to the right. The run is always to the right.
Okay,
The
run.
rise, though, is either up or down.
Oh, okay, wait, that makes sense because I
Okay.
was trying to like figure out a way the other day how to like plot
So
something and start really far down.
so the slope is -2 comma 1 here. The negative, the negative means it's going down. The 2 is telling you how much down. So see if I start here at the origin, I'm going down 1, 2. I'm going down because it's negative, 2 units because it says so.
Mhm.
But I'm always going right 1 unit
All right.
because that's the number there on the bottom.
Okay. So you start at the bottom and you like go up. Wait, I might need like a redo of that.
I understand. So I've said a lot of things. Let's look at some examples here. So let's say I
Uh,
tell you the slope is 3/4, but it's positive. Okay, so in words, the three means it goes up three, right? How many?
4.
Four. So let's say I start here, and you have to do it in if there's a certain order you have to do this in. So you go up three, up 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the up three, and then this is the right four.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so like slope and rise over runs kind of like works together.
Yes.
Okay. I thought
Yes.
they like didn't relate for a while.
Well. Okay. So you're talking about this idea of slope, and in
Hmm.
math, there's a lot of things that kind of they refer back to the same thing, like m, rise over run. You'll get this one too, rate of change, if you haven't heard that yet.
Yeah, I've heard that once or twice.
So what it is like the topic you're dealing with is slope, but there's all these other things that mean the same thing. And you have to realize that. Like your teacher could say, what is the, and then fill in the blank here, and think of a drop down. It could be M, it could be rise over run, it could be rate of change. Like these all mean the same thing. So if your
Okay. And
instructor
then
says,
so
what
it's
is
kind
the
of
slope? It's 3/4. What is the rate of change? It's 3/4. What is the rise over run? It's 3/4.
okay. That actually makes sense.
Okay, so let's
So
do
like
another one here.
so
Let's say the
specific.
slope is -2/3.
Hmm.
So this means you go down 2, and that's because of the negative, right 3. So if I have you start here, you go down 2,
One, two, and then
and
just
then
to the
right,
right.
yeah, so this is the down 2, right 3. And you get
Would
here.
there ever be a scenario where the run would not go to the right,
It's
or is that
always
just
to the right. It's always to the right.
always to the right?
Always
Okay.
to the right. We read left to right. You think of things going right, left or right. All right. So now here is kind of a math question for you to think about. Um, let's look at let's look at 2 lines here. This line and then this line. The first one here, this one's going up and to the right.
Hmm.
The second one is going down and to the right. Notice how they're both going to the right.
Yeah.
This one on the left has a positive slope.
And
The,
then,
this one has a negative slope.
all right.
So if I give you a question and I asked whether the slope is positive or negative, you can tell me visually from just seeing it whether it's positive or negative, because it either goes up and to the right, and that's what this means, up and to the,
Oh, okay, wait, that makes sense. All right.
and this
So
one
you don't
goes
even
down
need
and
to
to
like
the right.
graph in a way.
Sometimes no, yeah, sometimes you don't. Like your instructor might ask you for the graph, or do something like that, but
Yeah.
you know there's a lot of things here that we're talking about. So
Okay. Yeah, that's super. That makes so much sense now.
yeah, so let's go back to this formula that I started out with, and let's just do another problem here. There's kind of a path here that you're going to have to get to once you get past all this sort of um, like notes, like the doing of the problems. So let's say I give you the points 4 comma 3, and then the points 8 comma 7.
All right.
So we want to find the slope. And what I recommend the first time you do this is you definitely label these. So it's x1, y1, x2, y2. So the 1 means the first point, 1 means the first point, 2 means the second point, 2 is for the second point.
All right.
You get y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equals, so that's 7 minus 3 over 8 minus 4,
Minus 4. So then 4/4.
which equals
One whole.
1 whole, or 1 over 1. So how many up or down do you go here?
You go up one and to the right one.
And to the right one. Perfect. Excellent. Okay. So if you understood that, let's go to a slightly different example here. Let's say I give you the points 4 comma 5 comma 3 comma 6.
So I guess it would be 5 plus or 5 minus 6
Okay, so
and
here's what you told me, and it's okay what you just said, but I'm going to just jump in here real quick. Um, you made 5y2, which is fine. You can do that, but that means 4 is x2.
oh,
So like the ones go together. Like if you're choosing 5 to be, or 4 to be x1, then 5 has to be y1. But if you're like, no, I want to make 5y2, then
so they
x has
always
to.
have to like stick together.
That's
Kind
right. That's right.
of.
Yeah. So
All
you got
right, so
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
6 minus 5, and then 3 minus 4.
Yeah. So that's 1 over -1. So this is our first kind of exception. Okay. So these things here, let me just come off to the side here. 1 over -1 is the same as -1 over 1, which is the same as -1 over 1.
All right, so all of it's like technically negative in a way, but you
Right.
don't.
But which is the most useful for talking about slope?
Um, -1 over 1.
Yeah, and the reason is the top number tells you up or down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever get a negative on the bottom, you should move it to the top, because this means 1 down, 1 right. Whereas you might look at this over here on the left and try to come up with some other language, but we always said it always goes to the right, which means the bottom number is always positive.
Okay. Always positive. Um, all right, just got that down.
All right, so let's do like any of these. All right, so let's try another one here. Let's go 8 comma 10 are your points, and then -7 comma 14.
All right, so then 8, 10, -7, 14, x1, or x1, y1, x2, y2. So then it would be 14 minus 10
Good.
over
Over.
-7 minus 8.
Yeah,
So then 4 over -15.
that's right. But we said the bottom is never.
Supposed to be
Yes.
bigger than the top.
Yeah, so we should change that. We should move that negative up to the top. So it's really -4 over
15.
15. And then what is the interpretation of that? Like, how would you describe that as rise over run?
I guess we would have to like go down 4 and then over 15.
Exactly. You would say down 4 or 4 down, 15 right. Good. Okay, so before we move into the next sort of set of examples here, if I ask you what is 4 minus 3, 4 minus -3, -4 minus 3, and -4 minus some -3, do you think you're comfortable in giving me the correct answer for all of these?
Yeah, the first one would be 1, the second one would be 7, and the third one would be -7, and the final one would be -1.
Agreed. I'm glad that that's clear. So in the slope formula, um, one of the things that I do as a preference is I like to substitute for variables, but I do it in parentheses. And especially over here, especially when x1 or y1 are negative. So in this next example, I'm going to give you the points 1 comma -19, -2 comma -7. And when I ask you to find the slope, it's -7 minus -19.
All
This is
right.
y2 and this is y1. So whenever it's negative and there's like this is an operator, I tend to put it in parentheses.
Does that just it would become positive, right?
It would. One of the things that you'll be able to do is eventually just do it without writing it this way, but the idea is to limit like chance of making the wrong sign error, because you're completely graded on whether you put the numbers in correctly and then operate on them correctly.
Okay.
So you're right. This becomes -7 plus 19 over -2 minus 1, which is 8 over, no, sorry. It's
Yeah.
it's 12 over -3, which
Which
is
is 4 over -1. Or well,
negative
-4 over 1.
or -4. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if you understand this. Here's a couple of problems I'd like you to try on your own, see how you do. This is the like independent learning part of the lesson.
All right.
If you get these correct, we can just move on to something else, but I will go through them, but let me put those down here. Go ahead and find the slopes of those and let me know. Actually, I'm sorry. Do not do that one.
Okay.
Just do the one on the right there, please.
I'm going on the right. Sounds good. What's the reason why it's like two, like y2 and then the y1? Like, is there like a reason for that, or is it just like that's the way it is?
So it's kind of like this. Why is the North Pole the North Pole? Because it's north, right? Somebody just arbitrarily said like that's north. But like when we accept that and we think of north as up, but it's kind of like we came up with the convention, so everyone goes along with it.
Okay.
Why is east to the right and west to the left? Like that's how we
It's
came up
just
with
like
it.
one of
So
those things, kind of.
yeah, we just go with it. We don't question it, because if you did, you so in truth, you can actually flip the equation. You can actually make the equation y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2, but you have to be consistent in both.
Just keeping them together like
But
that.
every textbook in the world does it this way. So it depends. Are you a conformist or a nonconformist? And it's okay to be either. Like it's seriously, it's okay. But that's what you're basically asking me.
All right. I'll just do y. It seems like that'll be easy.
Okay, there you go.
um, 12. There we go. Minus parentheses 18 and then 11 minus 12. So then that would become 12 plus 18 over 11 minus 12 equals 30 over -1, which then would become negative 30 over 1, right?
Good. Yep. Excellent.
So
Okay.
just, yeah, I get why you can't ever have negative on the bottom.
Yeah. All right. So in the time that we've been spending here, do you have anything new come up or anything else like you can think of from this last week that you want to work on, or anything else come to mind?
That's here. Let me look at my paper. I just grabbed my like papers we've had to do from like the last week.
You're all caught up on assignments, is what I'm hearing. Like,
Yeah, she's an interesting teacher, I guess.
good choice of words.
Yeah, she does things pretty differently compared to like any other teacher I've ever had. But like so far, it seems to have been working, but I'm not really sure how long it'll work out. But I guess I have some high hopes. She seems like she definitely knows what she's talking about.
Great.
I guess really like we kind of moved on from like the names of we're going over like when you change certain things like dilation and like reflecting and like stuff like that. But I think I
Okay.
kind of got the hang of most of it.
Okay,
Um,
so this is what you can expect in a lesson with me. It's always best if you have like a few things like queued up that you want to work on so that we have
mhm.
stuff to go through. Um, because you're just starting out, you probably don't have too much um, that's going on, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna
good.
Oh, I think I might like write on a sticky note if I don't ever get something in class. Like even if she explains it, I think I'm gonna write down like on a sticky note in my bag for like I'm assuming like with the way this has gone, it's gone like pretty well. I'm assuming we'll do like more like lessons. I think maybe I'll just have this like sticky note or like a page or something where it's like
Yeah,
something to look at
exactly.
it.
Yeah. So your parents are probably going to want feedback from you on this. Just let them know how it went. Your dad's been my main point of contact, so I'll talk to him. I'll let him know that you showed up on time, you were ready to go, you gave me some things that you wanted to work on, and that I encouraged you to, for next time, whenever that is, to just always kind of have that list of things ready. So we actually don't need to do any more than this tonight. This was just kind of a get acquainted session and
All
see
right,
how
yeah.
things go. Um, so appreciate your time, Zach.
Yeah,
When
of
we
course. I
when we
appreciate it
end
a
the
lot.
lesson, I'm going to send you the notes and the screen recording here shortly.
All
So
right.
you'll see that in your email. And thanks again. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, this is super great. I'll hopefully be keeping in contact with you. But question, like what happens if like just somehow like I just understand everything going on in class? Do I just not really like write anything down or should I just
Just
like just
keep me updated with what you've got going on for that week because I'll come up with more. We'll either
just
move ahead or
yeah.
just reinforce what you've already got.
Okay. Okay, that sounds great. I'll just every day kind of like write down somewhere what we did in class that day.
That would be excellent.
All right, and then I'll
All
just
right.
have it saved somewhere. All right, sounds perfect.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot. See you. Bye now.
See ya.